Put your hands together to welcome MiiR's founder and CEO, Bryan Papé.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. I'm from Seattle, so I'm used to the gray. And when Ron first asked me to come and speak, I was kind of, to be honest, I had no idea where Kalamazoo, Michigan was. So I was a little bit like, all right, what's the Midwest like? I'll come check it out. And I was blown away yesterday when I learned about the Kalamazoo Promise. You guys need to clap it up for yourselves. The fact that the community is coming together, privately funding any kid who graduates to give them a college education is unbelievable, and I want to tell everybody that I meet about this, because something like this is what will change America, is people like you all coming together and embracing what it means to change the community. And so today I'm going to talk about generosity, and I'm just excited because it's in your DNA. You guys get it. And so today I'm going to share a story, my life story. It's one of adventure that I didn't plan on. Like they said, I'm the founder and CEO of a company called MiiR, and my story starts off a little bit differently. It starts off as being a tool. This is me. This is me in 2006. I thought I was living my dream. I wanted to be the next Warren Miller. I was hanging out of helicopters, filming ski movies, and I was crushing it. It was all about me, how much money could I make, how many people would see me. It was fun. As you can see in the photo, I was flying high. This all changed April 15th, 2006. While I was skiing, filming, ended up hitting a tree and broke my right femur right in half. And this is what it looks like against the tree. This is what it looks like when you break your femur. It's a little brutal. So I'm lying against a tree, my leg is snapped in half, and the reality is when you break your femur, you can hit your femoral artery, and you can essentially bleed to death internally in about 10 minutes. And the reason I knew this was one of my roommates at the time had done something similar a few years earlier. He had lived, but he said, never break your femur, because if you do, you can die in about 10 minutes. So fast forward a few years, I'm against a tree thinking, oh my gosh, I could literally die in 10 minutes. And the weirdest thing happened. Everything was calm, and it was very still. And there were two realities that really just rushed into my head. The first was, I had been dating my now wife. We've been dating for about 3 years. She was a total babe, an incredible woman, and you're thinking, wait, it took you breaking your leg and almost dying to realize you should marry her? Tool, 2006, me. So that first moment of clarity was, I need to marry my wife. We'd had an incredible journey together. We skied in our water, skied in our clothes, climbed mountains together. Ultimately got married a year later, and now we have a beautiful little girl, Sienna. She's almost 2. Another one on the way this August, so we're making babies. It's great. It's a good time. And the second thing I thought about when I was lying against that tree, not knowing if I would live or die, and it was very morbid, but I thought, what would people say about me at my funeral? And that question, for whatever reason, came into my head, cut to the core of who I was. And I realized that nobody would have gotten up and said great things about who I was as a person, about caring about the community or others around me. I was the guy in high school who put a Volkswagen Beetle on top of the roof as a prank. 2006 tool, right? So I realized this is an opportunity. And for me, I wanted to be able to go somewhere, and once I passed away, for someone to speak great things about the works that I had done in my life. Because my grandfather, who had built an incredible family business, passed away in '96. And I remember when he passed away, his funeral, there were people lined out the door talking about the good things and the people he cared about in his community. This is him. He had built up an incredible business on the West Coast, still family-owned today. And my grandmother, after he passed away, decided to start a family foundation. And so at an early age, I was able to be involved and understand generosity. Didn't really take it to heart, but just was kind of around it. And I realized, what happens if you pass away before you're able to be generous? Because as I'm sitting against this tree, there's this disconnect between business and philanthropy. The classic model is you amass wealth, and at the end of your life, that's when you choose to give back. And I thought, well, my grandfather, while he was generous during his lifetime, he certainly kind of missed out on the later in life piece that I'm sure he would have been very passionate about. And as I'm sitting against this tree, I'm thinking, I haven't done anything for anybody. So this idea of how do you merge business and philanthropy kept coming up in my mind. How do we do this? How do we bring these two things together in a way that's completely unique? And I was always kind of an entrepreneur. I was the guy that would fold up origami paper airplanes and sell them and hustle kids lunch money in 5th grade. That was me, kind of a tool. And for me, I saw, when we were talking with Ron a while ago, he said, what is your superpower? And for me, my superpower is observing, being able to observe in the marketplace what's missing. And in 2009, I thought, there is not a great water bottle that exists in the marketplace. So wanted it to fit in the cup holder, one twist opening, narrow mouth. We were kind of, Nalgene was really popular, God bless them. But every time you drink out of a Nalgene, water dumps all over your face. The lid is like hitting you while you're trying to drink from it. So we ended up designing a really beautiful bottle. Everybody here, I haven't met Oprah. I'd love to meet her someday. Maybe she'll be president, who knows? But today, everybody gets a water bottle. You get a bottle. You get a bottle. Everybody gets a MiiR bottle. And the one question that I asked when I started my company was, how can I help the world? And this question cut to the core of how do we use business as a tool to impact the world? And I didn't know what would happen, but this question has allowed 3 things to happen with my business. First, I've been on an incredible journey that I never could have imagined before. The second thing is innovation, and the third thing is building deep, deep relationships, and I'm going to touch on all 3 today. The journey starts, this is a man by the name of Jason Kyler. He's a good family friend. My wife happened to nanny for him in college. We were over at his house one night for dinner, and Jason said, hey, I'd love for you guys to beta test this project that I've been working on. It's a secret project. And we're like, okay, that'd be cool. Turns out the secret project is Hulu.com. Pretty cool. And so while we're designing the bottles and we're figuring out how we're going to market this product, we're just watching, probably The Office on Hulu. And it happens that Jason had asked this same question to Scott Harrison, who I believe spoke here before, who started Charity Water. And he gave ad space on Hulu for Charity Water. And I saw this ad, and Scott broke it down that close to 1 billion people lacked access to clean water. And I thought to myself, we're selling water bottles, let's get back to clean water. This makes total sense. So that's where the journey starts for MiiR. We wanted to get back to clean water. I called up Charity Water and said, hey, I'd love to go out into the field. I'd never experienced not being able to get access to clean water. And I said, hey, we don't do donor trips, unfortunately. And I was super bummed because I wanted to be able to see and experience and meet people who didn't have access to clean water. And I thought if it was meant to happen, it's meant to happen. So my buddy John Keeley here, great photographer. He's done Bill Gates' photo, Jeff Bezos, Howard Schultz, Anna Leibovitz, Macklemore. Incredible photographer. We went to school together. He calls me up and he says, hey, I heard you're starting a company. Can I help you? And I was like, yeah, what do you want to do? He goes, let's shoot a great ad campaign that's kind of funny and cheeky and do something clever. So we came up with this idea to make water beards, where the whole notion is, when you drink from a Nalgene, you get water all over your face. So we came up with these ads, and this individual, Courtney, a friend of John's, came to the photo shoot, and she said, hey, I don't really like to network, but I think you should meet my brother-in-law. He happens to build wells in Liberia, and he's been doing so for the past 20-plus years. So I connect with Darryl, and he goes, hey, would you like to go with me in about 6 months? And this is in 2011. I said, sure, I think we'd be able to fund about 2 water projects by then. And so we just booked plane tickets, head over to Liberia. And when you get to Liberia, we promptly run out of gas. This is what it looks like when you run out of gas in Liberia. You just pull over the side of the road and buy some gas. But we experienced and saw firsthand what people were drinking from. The same water sources, they were doing their laundry, they were cleaning, they were sometimes using it as a restroom. There were many wells that were broken, good and well-intentioned people trying to help, and they weren't successful. And part of that was because you have to partner with people on the ground who live in that community. And this is a man by the name of Pastor Kondo, an incredible individual. When I asked him what he's most thankful for, he's thankful for electricity at night, because nobody around him is able to read or write at night because there's no light. He's thankful for electricity. And so when I'm down on myself, I always think about Pastor Kondo. He's thankful just for the simplest things to be able to serve his community. So together we partnered with them. We were able to build a well in the Dark Forest Village, a place where kids had never had access to clean water before. It was an incredible experience. But what came out of that experience was innovation that we had no idea would happen. These are the GPS coordinates of our first water project. And I came back from that trip completely changed, showed photos to my friends and family. And one of my buddies, Pat, said, wait, so the bottle that I purchased from you funded this actual water project in Liberia. And a huge light bulb went off over my head. And I thought, why is nobody in business connecting the products they're selling with the giving projects that they're doing. And so from this moment forward, we decided, let's show all of our customers the good work that is actually happening and hopefully inspire them to do good in turn. And so all the bottles that you have today, there's a hang tag on there. And if you go to our website and register that code, we'll actually show you GPS coordinates, photos, and updates from the giving projects that we're actively giving from as a company. And it's been incredible. The response from our customers, they love the transparency piece. Us being authentic and being generous and transparent has led to improving our business results. If that's not a case for why you shouldn't change the world, I'm not sure what is. And what's interesting, thank you. And what's interesting is as soon as we became transparent, an amazing thing happened. This little company called Patagonia, I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They emailed us, not sure if we had heard of them. My buddy Paul, he's a good friend now, said, hey, MiiR, we didn't have a phone number at the time on our website because we were so small we didn't have time to answer the phone. So he emails us, hello@miir.com. He goes, hey, my name's Paul. I work for this company called Patagonia. I'm not sure if you've heard of us. To which I'm freaking out. And we'd love to partner with you. We love your mission. You're a B Corp. You guys are just killing it. You're doing it right. So I would say, yeah, we'd love to work with you. I fly down to Ventura, California, meet the whole team, met Yvonne, met Chipper Bro. If you go to Ventura, ask for a tour from Chipper Bro. It's incredible. And it's honestly been a dream come true. I grew up loving them as a company, love their products, and now we're the exclusive global supplier for all of their drinkware around the world. And it's they're kind of like our older sibling. They help us navigate issues with certified B Corp, how to improve our supply chain. It's really been an incredible relationship for our business. The next thing that we asked about building relationships is how do we add more value to our customers? How do we not just sell products, but how do we invite them back into our store? And we thought, why don't we open up a cafe? Why don't we open up a store where we're selling coffee tumblers and beer growlers? Let's serve coffee and beer to our customers. And in turn, let's put Madcap Coffee out of Grand Rapids. Let's put them on as guest roaster and buy back from them. So instead of always selling, we're actually going to buy back from our customers. Let's add more value. And this has led to an incredible opportunity at our store. Here it is. We have 30 beers on tap. I think it's about 20 now because kombucha is pretty popular. Full espresso bar. We host events. This is me sitting down with Jerry Stritsky, the CEO of REI, and Dennis Madsen, my good friend, who was the former CEO of REI. We bring the community together and just have a great time. The thing that's interesting about this is that building relationships with our customer is really important, but we've also been able to build relationships with our nonprofit partners who are doing incredible work around the world. These are photos from our recent campaign. It's called our Empowerful campaign. It's a beautiful story about women in the community around the world who are changing the lives around them. And the reason I want to highlight this so much is because the work that is happening in the small town of Boise, Idaho is truly inspiring. And our creative team does all the content in-house. They did all these designs themselves. And they put together basically a 3-minute film that just highlights the good work that is happening. And in turn, happens because people are supporting MiiR, and then we're able to support them. So check out this video.
I mean, they're humans. They've made mistakes. They're just trying to do what I'm trying to do, live their life and, move forward.
So, shifting gears, I think, is one of my favorite stories that we've experienced at the Boise Bicycle Project, just because of the sort of epic journey it's been. 4 years ago, I was trying to start a program where we were doing something similar, where we were teaching people how to work on bikes while they were incarcerated, and they would earn a bicycle through the process for themselves when they were getting released. But the idea was, really to make sure that they had already earned their bike while they were incarcerated, so that the second that they got out, they could come into BBP and that bicycle would be waiting for them. Because the day that they get out, the next kind of stage of their life begins.
My very first one I ever did was a Spider-Man bike. I'm feeling pretty, I was in prison, so I was feeling like a failure. I failed my son and my wife, and so I found this Spider-Man bike, and it was just the coolest bike. It had a little Spider-Man shield and everything. And the whole time I was doing it like I was doing it for my son and with my son, and it just really, it made me realize that I'm not, just because I'm stuck, I can still do things for my family.
It heals their heart to give to kids. A lot of them have their own kids that they're not around right now. That part of it, just being able to give back to somebody when they feel so bad about themselves.
I think the part of the program that I fell in love with the most was how much this program attached the women to their community. And it was something that they hadn't necessarily felt before. When they grew up, giving back to the community and being part of the community wasn't something that they had really experienced. And so for the first time while they were incarcerated and fixing these kids' bikes, they realize that they're making a difference. They're doing something bigger than themselves, and they're helping these kids on this great path and this great journey that they're going to be on. And whenever we would go out there, I would always expect for them to ask for pictures of the bicycles that they were going to get when they were released. And they would never ask for that. They would always ask for pictures of the kids who got the bicycles that they were working on. So you could tell how important it was for them.
Thank you. That video every time it just kind of chokes me up because it's so incredible what is happening in these communities around the world. We've been able to, as a company, and I share numbers, I love numbers, and I share them not to brag or to boast, but hopefully to inspire others that business can be a catalyst for doing good in the world. Since inception, we've been able to give over $589,000, and this is actually old since I sent the deck a few weeks ago. We've just crossed $600,000 since inception. Thank you. Which has been able to directly impact over 110,000 people around the world. And what's interesting is last year we grew our top line revenue by 60%. We gave over $200,000 and we were profitable. So this can be done. We can change the world through business. We are a great example of that. But there's so many other great organizations that are doing this as well. So if anything, I would hope that others are able to accomplish this as well. We do it through our product-to-project model, where every product funds a trackable giving project. The question that I want to ask you all today is, what is your legacy? When I was against that tree, I asked that question, and I wasn't proud of it. And even today, there's things that I can improve upon. Everybody in this room can improve upon their legacy. If Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson came here and just snapped your finger right in half, what would happen? What would go through your head? What would you want to change? And there's one question that transformed gender, race, ethnicity, and it can help your family, your individual lives, your businesses, your nonprofits. It cuts to the core of what you want to do to improve the world. And that one question that I challenge you today is, how can I help? Because the moment that we take this question to heart and we go out into the world and we act upon this question, I guarantee you, the world will change, absolutely. But you know what's also interesting is we too will all be changed in this process. Thank you.